Is there any areas you just stay away from?
South Carolina. Besides that, pretty much everywhere else. We haven't gotten ran out of town anywhere except there.
But you're not wasting time on, even if you're making 30 plus grand, if it's in the hood or something, you're not, or maybe you are, I don't know.
It just depends. So the biggest factor is the under contract price to what it'll sell for quickly price.
Gotcha. That
So
makes
yeah,
sense.
as long as the gap is there, we'll do it. Because dude, a lot of our fat deals are in like undesirable places, like really small towns. But we
Got
just
it.
give it
Okay.
a good enough price where we can make it work.
Todd, a CU group reached out to me for a deal that it looked like $1 million house. Nobody could wholesale it. Like nobody. I'm like, it's a novation. Like my brain, no brainer novation. And they're like, whatever, dude, help us. We cannot. So I hired the agent, put it on. We're getting an offer today. But like
Nice.
everybody, there's some good people around there, like really good, but it would not wholesale because that price point. But Novation like that, because it was in some weird ass, I don't even know how to pronounce the place in Florida in the swamp somewhere.
Nice.
But it's this big ass house. Who wants that? You know, but it had to get on
Yeah.
the MLS with the right agent.
Yep. It's a whole different pool of buyers. Like someone that plans on living there is looking at it completely different than an investor. Like $1 million house for an investor is like a lot of bills. But for someone that's shopping for it, maybe they got money to put into it too and fix it up and make it their own. So
David and Kelly, what y'all got?
Yeah, so I work with Daniel on his team. I was actually just texting him. I said, "Does Travis work out?" So,
Every now and then.
but I appreciate, first off, Richard, your time. Daniel's been walking us through the Novation process. I do the acquisitions. My wife does all the dispositions side. So she really does all the hard work. I'm lazy. But do you have is there anything specific that you really look for in a realtor? I know you covered it like briefly, but are there any red flags on a realtor before you would partner with them that you've noticed?
ooh, red flag number one, doesn't pick up their phone and doesn't call back in a timely manner. And unfortunately, that's a lot of realtors. So a realtor that's busy, they may not pick up their phone, but normally the good ones are pretty good at getting back. So that's one thing. If they're just like low energy, low urgency, I can't be around it. And it only gets worse. If you just understand, like you're seeing the best version of them on that interview call. So if you're getting red flags on that call, it's the tip of the iceberg. You know what I mean? It only goes down from there. So you want an agent that's confident, that can sell themselves, that's a doer, not just a talker. That's why I always give them a task of giving their opinion on where they think it needs to be priced. Most of the time, I'll grant them access to the property too. I'll say, hey, if you want to go and lay eyes on it so you can give us a better opinion on it, that's something I can arrange as well. They should be jumping on that. A big part with the agent too, this is something I kind of had to learn the hard way, is you have to set yourself up as being high value in their eyes. Once you get good at doing that, your conversations are all different. They see you as low value. They see you as a wholesaler. They see you as someone that wants something from them and is not someone that's offering something. You know what I mean? You just get a different version. It's just like with anything. If a girl likes you, you're gonna get a totally different version of that girl than if she's not interested. You know what I mean? So with the agents, you have to show high value, and then they're spending most of their energy trying to prove themselves to you. So that was like a huge thing. And I learned that from Kirby too. That's how we recruit people into Kirby, because nobody wants to sell vacuums door to door. So how do you get people? You got to get them in the door and then make them prove themselves to you. So there's kind of the same thing with the agents, but I'll give them those tasks and I'll be setting urgency the whole time too. You know, I'll give them some encouragement where it's like, hey, I've been talking to several agents. I've gotten a really good first impression from you. Just so you know, we are looking to move quick on this project. I should be making my decision within like probably 48 hours. One thing that you can do that'll really help me is if you can give me like just CMA and let me know where you think this would need to be priced. I'm gonna send you over all the information, but give me your opinion on where you think it needs to be priced, where you'd be confident we could get an offer within the first few weeks. That'll really help me. And then I'll get back to you either way, let you know my decision. And we should be signing listing docs within 2 days with the person that we pick. So just setting that urgency and making sure that they're competing for your business and you're not trying to convince them to please work with you. You know what I mean? Because they'll just treat you bad the whole time. If they feel Like we've we still have problems with that sometimes, but it's always with my new guys. Like it's not the experienced guys. So you'll get that in the beginning, but you just have to learn how to work that leverage and just be kind of like aloof with them. If you seem like you're trying to sell yourself to them, people can tell when you need something from them or want something from them. And it's like icky. And realtors are always getting sold something. They're selling each other. They get all these marketing calls, their phone numbers on the internet. They have a bunch of people that waste their time. So when you come in just kind of cool, like with Big Daddy vibes, they appreciate it. Like, hey, you're someone calling them with the deal that you want to sell quick, and they didn't have to do anything for you to call them. So it's like, the smart ones will realize that it's a good opportunity.
I love that approach. I think personally, out of 10 realtors that I call when I'm interviewing them, whether we're buying and reselling or we're doing novations, 2 of them probably get back with me. And one of them really stands out every time. Like for me, it works out that way. Like every time. I don't know.
What's up?
Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Richard. Got 2 questions. First off, what's your favorite genre of music?
My favorite genre of music? Right now is Christian rap. So,
Okay.
yeah, I've been on my Christian rap tip. I'm only listening to Christian music now and instrumental stuff for the most part. I used to listen to all sorts of stuff, but trying to keep the brain waves pure.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I grew up with all that stuff. Toby Mac and a lot of Switchfoot.
Nice.
Yeah, they're amazing. Okay, as someone who's been doing wholesaling not too long, maybe a year, and I've never even really looked at what a novation is, what would be if you're looking at a property as an acquisitions guy, what is the first indication to you that it's possibly a good novation?
Oh, so you're looking at a property. 1, if you're looking at it, you're saying, oh man, this is gonna be hard to wholesale. And then 2 is gonna be like you're saying, oh, dang, this person's motivated. You know what I mean? So if it's basically, I try to wholesale everything I can. And then the stuff that I can't wholesale, it gets forced into the novation overflow bin, if you will. So like, even if I'm like, dude, I could make 30 grand wholesaling this, or I could make 40 novating it, I'm taking the 30 grand. Now, if it's like 10 grand wholesaling or like 50 grand novating it, okay, yeah, we'll go through the dog and pony show for that. And the ones that you can't normally, it's the conditions too nice, where you're not going to be able to get it low enough to sell to a fix and flipper. It's in a market where there's not a lot of cash buyers. So it's in a smaller town. There's not really cash buyer activity. It's an outlier, or it's at a higher price point. Those are like the 3 main things. And then, so the only thing that would really disqualify it would be if there's a huge time crunch where they need to sell it in 30 days or less, then you have to go off market. And then you can either wholetail it, like Travis was talking about, or you can work out some sort of a creative deal. But then now you got more moving parts too, where like maybe you give them some money up front to put out that fire, but you don't have to buy the whole thing. You know what I mean? That's another option.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense, because I know in the beginning you were talking about that stuff, and so that's why you always put a cash offer first.
Yeah, but even my cash offers, I'm giving them the same pitch. I'm giving them the same concierge service pitch. So if I'm going to wholesale it off market, I'm still going to tell them that I'm selling it to a third party. The only time I'm going to tell them it's a cash offer is going to be if I'm actually buying it cash, or at least if I can't wholesale it, I'm willing to buy it cash. You get what I'm saying? But what I found too, even on the wholesale, does makes it way easier. I still pitch this as a concierge service. We're going to sell to a third party, yada, yada, yada. I get easier access from them and everything like that. And once they believe in you and trust you, they really don't care like how you get it done. It's just the threshold is them believing that you can get it done. Once you've passed that threshold, they don't really care how. That's what I found. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
For sure.
I just got a text from one of my lenders that said I had a bunch of dry powder come in. You got any deals right now? That's money in his terms. I gotta find something. All right, anyway. All right. Everybody else's cameras off. Anybody else have questions while we got Rich here?
I got one.
Cool.
How do you, so we've had this happen, especially us being newbies. We offer too much. My agent goes and walks the properties. Yeah, it's a lot lower. What's your phraseology, or how do you frame it where you renegotiate with the seller in a way that's really effective?
Great question, because you will have this happen. If you don't have any ones that aren't the way you expected it, Either you're just like incredibly good if you're getting tons of deals, or there's probably deals that like you're missing out on. But basically, a couple things. So when they walk it, you want to get as much specifics as you can from them. If it sucks, we need to know why it sucks. What are the specific things? What are some dollar amounts we can attribute to those? And when you come to the seller, this is my personal philosophy. Like any negotiation should be done like before it hits the market. Like these deals, in my opinion, you shouldn't put it on the market knowing that you're going to have to renegotiate it later. And you're just like kind of waiting because it'll be like more effective later, because you'll put yourself in a really bad position. You'll put the seller in a bad position too. So it's wrong for that reason. But even if you're just thinking pragmatically, if you know you have to reduce, once you get that buyer offer in and you try to reduce on the seller, one, you're basically like putting your foot on their neck when they're vulnerable, right? They're already committed, the ball's rolling, you backed them into a corner. And then two, if they say no, now you've wasted the realtor's time, you've wasted the buyer's time, you've wasted your time. You have a very angry seller, right? Because they're like, dude, you agreed at this price. And then once it hit the market, now you're asking me for this big reduction. No, I don't want to do business with you now. You're a bad person. And it's like it's just, it's a messy way to do it, basically. So if you renegotiate in the beginning, once the realtor comes back, then you can let them know, because everything lines up too. Because it's, look, you made an offer based on your phone conversation. Now you're bringing your person in there to look at it. And now it's, hey, in light of this new information, I'm trying my best to keep this thing together. This is what we would have to do to account for X, Y, and Z in order for us to proceed. And you'll have some people that will agree with you and they'll go along and you can send them a reduction. And you'll have some people that will say, no, I'm not going a penny lower. And those deals you'll miss out on. But it's better to lose the battle right there than another 100 miles down the highway where you got to make a U-turn and now everybody's mad. So yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. But to avoid that as best as possible, get really good at a thorough discovery phase. Get into the details, because these are, keep in mind too, these are all questions that are probing questions that you can ask where they can't get mad at you for wanting to know the details of the house. And it's subconsciously showing legitimacy where you actually care about the house, right? If you're just trying to play number games with them, you go low, I go high. You know what I mean? They notice that. You'll see some of these wholesale calls where on the internet and stuff where they don't really talk about price and they just played the numbers game and won that way. And cool, for a $40,000, $50,000 house, whatever, right? But for a more sophisticated seller or a higher price point house, like things have to make sense and things have to line up. So the more detailed you get on the front end, since you're taking their house more seriously, they take you more seriously too. And for the people that are just playing numbers games or they're VA or it's like a 19-year-old that just watched like 3 YouTube videos and started cold calling or whatever, right? Like you're going to stand apart and they're going to feel that difference in the legitimacy. So find out as much as you can beforehand, because it does put a big damper in things when you find out things that are wrong. It sets things back because the realtor goes in, they kind of low key think you don't know what you're doing. Oh, wow, this house is way worse than you said. So a minor backstep there. You have a thing with the seller where now you got to go to them and ask for more money off. So it's like messing up the leverage there. And then if they say no, then you just feel like you wasted a bunch of time. And for your acquisition guys, that sucks too, because they're like, oh man, I went home and told my wife I got a deal, but I guess I don't. It just sucks for everybody all around. So it's much better to slay the beast first. And then the better you get at negotiating low too, you can give them a 5-star experience the whole way. You're like, dude, we're going to make 80 grand on this. Oh, you need a hotel room? No problem. Oh, you need your stuff moved out? Yeah, fine. You know what I mean? Cool. So like front load the pain and then you can give them the Disneyland ride on the back end. It's when you try to squeeze it too low. It's like being a private chef and only charging $20 a plate. Dang, dude, I'm gonna try to make you a nice dinner, but there's only so much you can do with $20 before you're losing money. But if you're charging $10,000 a plate, oh, cool, lobster, wagyu, steak, champagne, caviar. What do you want? Hey, we got whatever you want. We got you. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. And Dell, I see your hand up here.
Hey guys, this has been really awesome. This is my first call and I'm brand new. I just dove into this like literally head first on Friday. So bear with me. But I got presented a deal and poor Travis is probably really tired of hearing about it in our group. I'm just wanting to know, what are your indicators on when to walk away from a deal because of the situation surrounding the property?
When I feel like there's no chance of victory, that's like when I'll walk away. I guess it would depend on the situation because I deal with lots of weird situations. So my pain tolerance is pretty high.
It's a weird one, and I really want to help them, but it's almost like they're eager to sell, but they don't want to help themselves. So they had a death in the family, but the deed has 8 people on it, and the vote for the sale price has to be unanimous. And 5 of the 8 want a paycheck, and the other 3 are like, "Can we just get rid of this? It has a reverse mortgage that increases $2,200 a month." So I offered them 410,000 if I could find an investor. And they were like, we turned down 455, so we would have to go above that. And I'm like, let me see what I can find out. But it's just a very difficult situation. I see Travis smiling at me because
Yeah.
even the comps are nuts.
There's multiple heirs. Like we could do something different with that. If 3 don't want it, and you could get those 3 to sign over the deed to you. Now you own partial interest in that thing. So we gotta have a different conversation, I think.
I mean, it's such a lot of moving parts. And it's crazy because they're family, but they're not because I was adopted. I mean, it's just such a weird, but they're like, if you want it, we'll let you have it. And I'm just like, I just want to buy it and resell it. I've called 10 realtors now. They're like 875, no problem. ARV, cool. And I'm like, okay, now what?
Interesting.
Yeah. And so Novations, I was like, this kind of sounds like it might be helpful.
So they turned down 450, but you think it'll sell for 8 something?
Yeah, so I've called a bunch. I have a real estate networker. Like I have so many friends in real estate because I've sold all of my parents' homes just because I didn't want them to have to pay for a real estate agent. And a couple of my friends' houses also. So I have a lot of friends in real estate because when I need a buyer, I just call around. And
Nice.
so I called a bunch of my connections in St. Louis and they said, if you fix this and this, 875 shouldn't be an issue on the low end.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. I would chat with Travis on that one because there might be some plays in there.
Yeah, I see his little brain waves flowing over there. So
I love multiple heirs. That's one of my favorite things is multiple heirs. Multiple heirs, I'm like, hell yeah, I can own half a property for nothing. No,
Yeah.
like buy them
what
out.
you got?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you both.
Last question, then we gotta let Rich out of here. He's already dumped all his brain on us.
Yeah, thanks, Rich, man. I got a really good understanding, but I got a question, and this might be a dumb question, but so the house needs to be livable, right? You're not taking,
As long as there's a big enough gap between what you have it under and what it'll sell for, it doesn't have to be livable.
okay,
You get a lot of money on the crappy ones too. It's just
okay, as long,
has to be demand for. Crappy
Gotcha.
house in a crappy town is normally low demand, but as long as
Gotcha.
there is a demand and there's a gap, it doesn't matter the condition.
got it. Okay, as long as the market value, you're making money and it'll sell in 60 days or less or something like that. Same as
Yes,
a
sir.
hotel.
Yeah, and
Thank
those
you.
will just sell cash only as is, but still with a realtor. Because you'll find cash buyers that aren't in off marketplaces. Like we had one in Flagstaff. It was this old crappy mobile home, 3 HUD tags, so it wasn't financeable. It was missing walls, like it was a tear down. Put it on the market. 2 brothers bought it. It was in Flagstaff, Arizona. They didn't speak any English. They were Spanish speaking. They bought it cash. They used a bilingual realtor. They're going to clear out the mobile home and put 2 new mobile homes on it. So they're not investor buyers. They were cash buyers. Those 2 dudes, they had their own small businesses. I think one guy did landscaping. The other guy was in construction. So you'll find buyers like that where it's still a cash buyer, but it's not someone that's like on investor lift or anywhere like that. So
Thank you.
Dude, Rich, thank you so much for coming on. Would you put your link to your course in the chat too?
yeah,
This course is awesome. I remember it being pretty economical. I went through it, freaking loads of knowledge.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's novationking.com. And then if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I'll put that on here too. My submission site's also in my link in my bio, novationjv.com. But cool, dude. Thanks, Travis. Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
gonna do some push-ups now.
I see you doing those dips. I see your dip in your stories. You always just do like
Yeah,
100.
man. I fell off a little bit, but I'm getting it back, man. I'm on a diet right now, so I'm working on it.
I'm sure we'll see each other soon, man. And thank you again. Great seeing you.
Cool. All right, thanks, bro.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Richard.
Yep. Everybody else, if you need help on a deal, stick around.
Sweet.
He's awesome, right? Dude's
That was
badass.
sick, dude. That was
Shooter does really good on. Dude sold vacuums. He can sell, right? He sold vacuums door to door. You do some crap like that, you can sell. And he actually gave me an idea because we get so many. I don't know if you're like me. Some of y'all are. Some of you are new. Some of you are not. But I get deals nonstop, and I get in a bad habit if I'm like, nope. I'll be real short about it. There's a lot of deals that I could do novations. Like my closer brought me earlier. I was like, keep going, but I was like, damn, those actually would be good novations now that we were talking about it. That's why I wanted to bring him on, because you probably have deals in your mind that are like, maybe. And the problem is, I want to differentiate. There are people out there that don't get educated and they really screw people, and they don't mean to. We're all trying to make a buck. I'm not talking bad. I don't like people talk bad. I'm just saying I want you to be educated. I want you to know what the hell you're looking for, but there's deals. Like every day, these people that want close to retail, you can get them at, he calls it 90%. My brain works minus 10%, minus 30K, whatever. If you could get it close to that, you probably, that it'll move in 60 days or less, and you can explain that to them, you could probably do it.
Yeah, Travis, the one thing is I don't want to go through the novation part of it. Seems like a lot of work. I don't mind handing it off for 40%
Yep.
and just keep moving personally. Other people, yes.
Yep.
Or partner with someone like you do it if you wanted to. I'd love it, or someone in the group.
Yep.
But I think it would be a no-brainer. I'm sure I'm gonna start doing some novations that way.
Yeah, I JV with TU people all the time. I just don't blast it, but they always reach out to me because I do a lot of them. But like I think because you're so good at wholesaling, I think that's probably smart. She's like, hey, I got this. I know it's a good novation. Take it and then just collect down the road. That's smart. And it's a good point for anybody in here. It's like, don't spread yourself too much. Dell, the multiple heir thing, you said there's 8 people and 3 don't.
There are 4 sisters and a brother, which are the stepkids of the gal who died, and then 3 of her grandkids on the land deed after death. So land beneficiary deed or whatever. And they have to unanimously vote to accept the sale price together.
What's it worth as is? Like the property, like not fixed up ARV, but what's it worth right now?
I have everything. Hold on. Give me
Just like
give me
rough.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking like 400,000, 410.
Okay, they want 450.
They want 550. They turned down 450 because one of the 7 didn't accept or one of the 8 didn't accept the vote.
There's something to do there. We'll talk about it a little later, but there's something to do there. But if 3 of them will sign over their interest, there was already a buyer. There was already a buyer at 450.
Yeah, oh yeah, my half brother had the property sold and they voted it out. And then or 455 and they voted it out. But it was just some random guy coming in to buy it. So I'm like,
Josh,
okay.
you're right. Majority can win. You just got to sue as a majority. You got to sue the other parties. But
Yeah.
you can't enforce the sale, but it costs money. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Something there.
Yeah. I'll pull up the numbers. I don't want to take up everybody else's time.
Anybody else got anything while we're here?
Yeah, Travis, I got one thing.
Yeah.
Remember that Flint deal,
Yeah.
that hotel? So I
Yep.
went and looked at the house, man. It is great. It'll probably sell for I mean, it needs a cleaning and that's it.
Yeah.
In a great neighborhood, fenced in, just 100 newer built homes. And that's the guy that wants 25 grand cash in the bag.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel right, even if I don't get caught.
Yeah.
I just morally just don't feel it's worth
Yeah.
it. Even
So it'll sell for how much?
200.
It'll sell for 200 and he wants to clear 25?
He wants 130. That includes 25 grand in cash. The rest is buying it with the title company.
Oh, that's because he has back taxes or some crap.
He owes a mortgage that went to foreclosure.
Yeah, and they're gonna take the proceeds you said.
And
Yeah,
the state, yeah,
yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
it's like defrauding the state
Yeah.
of their money or their equity. And
Yeah, I don't know a good way to do it. I don't. That would be an attorney question. But maybe he'll let you buy it at least. I don't know. It'd be like, hey,
I'm gonna try that, but I did talk to attorney. He gave me the blessing, but again, it's defrauding the state. It's just not right.
yeah, there'd have to be like documentation. I don't even know how that would go. I'm not an attorney, but like, I see what you're saying. It's just, sometimes money ain't worth it.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, I do the same crap. I've faced a few things like that. It ain't worth it to, you know. Andrew, what you got?
2 questions. First one, I'm going to be doing a lot of agent outreach in Washington. Would you basically use the same script you're using for your Facebook ad with them and say, look, this is what I'm looking for. I can make a cash offer if you need to sell something fast.
Yeah, but just, you got to differentiate yourself from the million other people that are calling in. Kind of like Rich said, you got to call with value. You're not going to have value when you're calling and they finally answer, but you could just say, because everybody's saying I'll buy cash, but what if you're like, you know, what would help? I would think what would help the realtor if you're going to do cold outreach like that? You know, first of all, I'm not a big fan, but if you want to do that, what would set you apart from every other person? Maybe instead of saying I'm buying cash, it's just, hey, do you have any listings that aren't moving right now that have been listed forever? Yeah. Do you mind if I take a look at them and see if it might fit our office needs? Something professional like that. Something different. Hey, we'll see if it's a good fit for our office. No promises. But it's been sitting there. They open and negotiate. Look at something like that. Like really go a little further.
Okay. Second question, and I know I'm playing for small potatoes here with these trailers, but I need to make a buck on them, and I just need to do it for some reason. I just want to get the process. Wherever I find it, I make them the offer, say at $1,500. They agree to it. I send the contract, and then when I'm calling up trailer park owners, they're going to probably want to go see it.
Yeah.
Have you found any problems? Obviously, this guy's going to be showing it to them. Do I do the whole rigmarole? Hey, don't talk price with that owner.
No, just tell him, be honest. I got it under contract. I'm either gonna buy it and resell it or sign it. I'm trusting you as one of my qualified buyers. You have a park. We can do a lot of business together. If this worked for you, maybe I could bring you a lot more.
Okay.
You know?
Cool.
Just get a rapport. Be honest, but get a rapport. Let them know how valuable you are. Just like Rich said, it's like portraying your value. I've had one snake out of all the ones I've ever done. And it was because I was in a hurry. And I was like, yeah, I didn't take the time to be like, hey, like, I'm pretty baller at these. You have a part. I can hook you up. They'd be like, I don't want to piss this guy off. Like, it's like my lifeline.
Okay. I love that entire approach. Like the thing with the Facebook ad. Look, I'm going to be honest. This is where I'm coming from. This is what I'm doing. And okay, cool. Thank you.
However you feel comfortable providing the value. That's it. Appreciate y'all jumping on. Oh, Matt, it would sell for $325, not $290, and they owe $256. Matt, or $257, or he might have jumped out. But if it would sell for $325, here's the formula, real-time formula. $325 as is minus 10% is $292, minus 30K is $262. They owe $257. So now you gotta have the conversation that we gotta be under contract for $262. We're gonna market it, and you're gonna end up with $5,000. Maybe an extra 5. Let's be honest. If Matt watches this later or whatever, but that's how you would approach the Novation. Just tell him, like, straight up, like, we might be able to get you a little more cash if it sells for what we think. We got to market to even sell this thing, and we might have to do some work. It sucks, which sounds like they didn't care, but his deal might be a good Novation.